All right, now we're doing 7Q, replace every nth. This is by user 5036852, and 91% of the people like it. We're going to write a method that replaces every nth char old value with char new value. All right. We're going to say the inputs are going to be text. It's going to be the string to modify. In will change the target letter every nth occurrences. Old value or similar will be the targeted character, and new value will be the character used as a replacement. And note, for untyped languages, that's not what we're doing. We don't got to worry about that, I don't think. Our method has to be case sensitive. We don't got to worry about that with what we're doing. If n is 0 or negative, or if it is larger than the count, return the original text without a change. Right, here's an example. N is going to be 2, target value A. Vader said, "No, I am not your father." So here's A, instance 1, instance 2, instance 3, instance 4. So we're going to put 2 and 4 are going to be the occurrences we're going to replace with O. And so it's going to be Vader Soid, I know I am your father. All right. That's hilarious. Just kidding. As you can see in the example, the first changed is the second A, so the start is always the nth suitable char and not at the first. All right. So what we're doing here, first things first, is declaring some variables, all right? We're going to have to do a count so we can count these up, all right? And then we're also going to have to put a result, because we're going to have to push all these letters into a new result. But if it's like this one, we're going to, instead of pushing that, we're going to push this. Same with this one, all right? So that being said, we're going to say let result equal a new string. And then we're also going to have let count equal 0, all right? Now, first thing when we're coding, we're going to take care of this little edge case here by saying if n is less than 0, oops, don't forget the parentheses. If n is less than 0, we're going to say return test, okay? And then we can come down here and start with the for loop, because we got to iterate through each one of these letters, all right, to check, get the count, and then also while we're iterating through, we're going to put these letters into this result, all right? So first we're going to say for, and then we're going to let I equals 0, while I is less than, that's not less than, what is it, text dot length, we're going to say I plus plus. Then we're going to start off by saying if test at I, okay, if test at the current index equals the old value, so if any of these equals whichever old value we got, like in this one it's going to be A. It's going to be A for a lot of them, but regardless, if it's equal to A, what we're going to say is count plus plus, and else we're just going to say result plus equals test at I, all right? So we're going to push, if it's not the A, we're just going to push the test in there. There could have been a joke, these are not the letters I'm looking for somewhere in here, but whatever. I'm sure there's another one on this site with something like that. What are we doing here? All right, so we're good here, and we're going to say if down here, after we take care of this if statement, we're going to take care of another if statement that's going to replace whichever one's in the count. All right, so we're going to do like a, is even, is odd, or is a multiple of in, basically. So what we're going to do is if text at I equals old value, and the count remainder operator in equals 0. So if count divided by in has no remainder, what we're going to do is we're going to say result plus equals new value. All right, and then else if text is text at I equals old value and count remainder operator in does not equal 0, we're going to say result plus equals text at I. All right. So if it is part of the count, part of the whatever in is, the in steps, whatever you want to call it. What does it say? Who cares? Anyway, if it is that, we're going to replace it. If not, we're just going to keep the same stuff. All right. And with that, go down 2. We're going to say return result. And let's see if this even works. Test it out. No. Test is not defined. You're right. Well, let's find test and turn it into text. There it is. All right, there it is. There it is. All right, test. All right, cool. Attempt it. So this one's in 6 milliseconds. That's pretty quick, especially for all that typing. But let's see if we can beat it with something in concise syntax. So we're going to say const this equals this, and then we're going to turn all this into an arrow, right? And over here, we're going to actually add the count in as one of the parameters. Count equals 0. That way we don't have to do something else. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start by saying test.split. And if you don't know what split does, we split it up by the spaces in between the characters, and it'll make an array with every single one of these characters, including the white spaces. If we split it up by the spaces, it'll just make an array with all the words in it. So it splits it by whatever pattern you want to split it by. So what we're splitting it by is the spaces in between the characters right there. All right. And now we're going to do a map. Right. Actually, we're going to do the map. That's where we're going to do all the guts of it. And then after the split, we're going to join it together, exactly the same thing but backwards, as split from split. So join. I'm sure it's not exactly the same, but who cares? Let's do it. All right, so map. If you don't know what map is, it's a method that creates a new object populated with the results of calling a provided function on every element in the calling array. So basically, here's an array, here's x, and then the arrow, and then x times 2. So each one of these is going to be x at some point, and we're going to multiply it by 2, getting it 2, 8, 18, and 32 from 1, 4, 9, and 16. All right. We don't need to know any extra stuff about that, so we're good there. So we're going to say map. We're going to say element. All right, and right here we're going to use a ternary operation. And the ternary operator is the only JavaScript operator that takes 3 operands. a condition followed by a question mark, then an expression to execute if the condition is truthly followed by a colon, and finally the expression to execute if the condition is falsy. And this operator is frequently used as an alternative to if-else statements. All right. So for this, we're going to say, I'll bring this back. For this, we're going to say if element, what am I doing? If element is equal to old value, all right? So we're going to go through the text, and if any of these is equal to old value, what we're going to do is we're going to say plus plus count. Not count plus plus, because we want it to be counted for before it even leaves this section. I hope that makes sense. And then we're also going to, if not, we're going to do the element. All right. And so we've got that, but now we're going to do a little bit of embedding. All right. So old value, if element equals old value, we're going to do count plus plus. And then if count plus plus, I'm going to wrap this up in a parentheses. If count plus plus equals in, all right, we're going to, what are we going to do if it equals in? We're going to, first thing, we're going to return new value. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to return the count to 0. So we're going to, in parentheses, we're going to say count equals 0. And we're going to do that, but we're also going to embed another thing in here because we also need to return the new value. So count equals 0, right there, if count equals 0, 0 is false, okay? So there's no way anything like this could ever equal true, no matter what. So because of that little fact, and also over here, let me get rid of this stuff. We're going to do this count equals 0. Oh, excuse me. How are we supposed to do this? Oh, yeah. Count equals 0 or element. All right. And then, because we need, okay, so what we're doing here, this is so hard to explain. If element equals old value, we're going to do plus plus count, and if plus plus count equals in, we're going to send it back to 0, and if not, if count doesn't equal in, we're just going to put element. But then also, we're going to ask this if this goes with that. Okay, this goes with that. This goes with this, and now we're going to wrap this up in parentheses right here. And we're going to say, since this cannot equal true no matter what because it's a 0, we're going to say, instead of that, we're going to say, when it's false, we're going to say new value. All right, hopefully that makes sense. All right, so let me bring these down a little bit so we can make this look a little bit cooler. All right, here's one. That's good enough, yeah. All right, so that's what we're going to do. Hopefully you watched that. You can just rewind if you don't get it. But hopefully this works. Let's see. Doesn't work. What's the problem? Element. Or element. No, yeah, what's this? We don't need that. Test it out. Test is not defined. Yeah, of course it's not. Okay, let's try it one more time. All right, cool. Okay, yeah, just look at this, go over it some more. It makes sense if you really study it. 5 milliseconds. Oh, and it's the winner too. Well, okay, cool. That is so terrible looking, but there's nothing we can do about it. Whatever. All right, so test it out, attempt it. All right, submit it. And I'm very much pleased with this one. Let's go to My Solutions. Yeah, just me. Best practice in my opinion. And we'll see you next time.